Hi there, and today I'm making another truck to go with my Cadbury's tanker. Now, a few weeks ago, I made my Cadbury's tanker for my Lego Railway, and I made that out of these purple cylinder pieces which came from Emperor Zurg from the Toy Story series, and I'll put a link to that video just up here. And I was thinking, what other trucks could I make for my Lego Railway? And another brand that came to mind was Coca Cola. Last year I made a Coca Cola holiday truck from the Holidays Are Coming advert series, and I'll put a link to that one up here as well. And I thought, okay, go for Coca-Cola. However, they don't make this cylinder piece in a red. So I had to think of alternatives. So this is the piece I eventually decided upon. It's fairly common. They made a Lego City Trains using this and several other sets. However, the inverse of that, this piece, is not so common. I did manage to find one person in the whole of the UK who had two for sale. They're not new, they're a little bit scuffed up, but I'm sure they will look pretty good once they're all put together. So what I'm going to do is take the bottom ones and add 3 of these 2x16 plates onto them to start building up our circular shape. So when we then put the top piece on like that, you've got an almost perfect circle going round. And then we're gonna swap that one over because I need those 2 blue Technic pins on the end to attach the ends, because I thought this looked fairly ugly end to leave it like that. And the end of the Cadbury's tanker looks so much nicer with this dish piece on the end of it. So we're gonna make that, and there is the body of our tanker. However, we do still need to make it a little bit more circular on the top. So what I'm using are these 2x4 curved slopes. I'm gonna put 2 of those on each end. So 2 on that end and 2 on the other end. And that's starting to give us our circular shape. Before I go too far with that though, we've got to build up the body, and I'm doing that in exactly the same way as I did for the Cadbury's tanker, using these 1x5s on the end of a grey car chassis. And we're of course going to stick our wheels onto them, and then build that up in the middle with a black plate in the middle. And then we obviously need our buffers, otherwise it's not going to be able to connect to anything. So put one of those on each end. Now with the Cadbury's tanker, there's this gap here which doesn't look too bad because we had these items above on the Cadbury's one, whereas this one they're going to look a little bit more unusual. So what I've done is got a 1x1 tile on the end of each of these 1x6 plates. Just going to pop them up next to the couplings. That's just going to fill in that gap ever so slightly, like that. Going to put one of those on each end, like that, and then we're going to start building up the red. So I've got 2 1x8 red plates to go here, and then some 4x4s to go on each end. And now we've got a fairly sturdy base, which is pretty identical to the Cadbury's one from a few weeks ago. However, I wanted to smarten up the side of this slightly. So what I've done, I'm getting these plates with studs on the side, adding 2 of those, and I found these off an old Lego City cargo set. These are used pieces obviously, but what I can do, if you've ever had stickers which are misaligned, what I tend to do is heat them up with a hairdryer, and then it softens the glue ever so slightly. You can peel them off, and I'll eventually put these onto 2 new 1x8 tiles. But for now, we're going to put those on there. They're just kind of generic cargo numbers. Absolutely no idea what it means, but in Lego world it obviously means something important for the trucks. I've got one of those to go on each side like that. So next we've got to finish off the top of this. So I'm now going to get these 1x2 curved slopes, join them together with a little plate and pop them next to the 2x4s. Do the same with these ones. And pop that there. Then we're going to build up, again, similar to this, we've got some sort of valve mechanism on the top of this one. I'm not going to do the ladders, just because I want a clearer side on the Coke one. So I've got the 2x6 plate there, and then I'm going to add some red 2x6 tiles just to give it a nice smooth look. And then in the middle, we're going to put these wedge plates. On this one, I used a much larger wedge to make that sort of octagon shape. Here we're going to have a more of an elongated shape. And then again, put those modified pieces on each end of it. Put 2 tiles there. And as before, put that jumper plate with a steering wheel piece on the top. Give it that sort of tanker valve kind of look. But of course we need to smarten up these ends. So what we're going to do, let's pop it onto our chassis that we've made. And squeeze that all down nice and tight. Like that. And as you can see, even without those 2 Technic pins, the end was going to look fairly ugly. So what we're going to do, these 2 Technic pins are going to marry into the 2 bottom holes of this round plate, like that. But again, still doesn't look great, so if we stick a 2x2 in the middle and a round dish piece, and then a little 2x2 round tile on the end, makes it a lot more smarter looking. I was going to do these in red, but you can't get that dish piece in red, so I thought I'd go for white. Matches in with the Coke branding, and then we'll do the same for the other end. And here we have the finished article. So we've got 2 white ends, big red curved tanker piece in the middle, and sort of valve mechanism on the top, and a good underframe. Matches up with the Cadbury's one well, but of course, like the Cadbury's one, we need some branding to go on the side of it. So first we had Cadbury's, but now we've also got Coca Cola, and I think that has also turned out really well. It's a shame we couldn't get the cylinder pieces to match, but I think doing those red half cylinders and then adding the curved slopes to the top almost gives us a perfect cylinder, and then these white ends on the end. Again, couldn't get red in those, but it kind of makes it look a bit more like a Coke can, with having the white ends to it, and it also marries up with that line on the logo very well. The logo on this side, absolutely perfect. Really happy with the way I've lined that one up there. The other side, slightly lower than the other side, and also ever so slightly leaning down. You probably can't see that on camera. It's ever so slightly lower this side than it is this side. I may redo that at some point, but for now I think that's pretty good going. Also with those Lego stickers on those black 1x8 tiles underneath, gives it a nice extra sort of cargo feel to it. I added my own ones to the Dairy Milk one, Dairy Milk Cadbury's truck obviously, but I like the way that those two look, and it hides that sort of grey underframe of that car chassis piece, which you can't get in black either. And I think those two look good together. They're quite different, but again they match up with each other quite nicely. So let me know what you think in the comments. Are you a fan of one more than the other? Which do you prefer, the Cadbury's one or the Coke one? I think they look pretty good together though. Give me your opinions in the comments, and do give it a thumbs up if you've liked this video, and of course please do subscribe for more Lego videos.